This morning, we're tracking developments on the murder of two television journalists gunned down live on a morning newscast in Virginia.
Vigil continues to grow outside the WDBJ studios in Roanoke Station with the painful task of going on the air this morning to report on the deaths of their morning reporter, Allison Parker, and photographer Adam Ward. A third victim, Vicki Gardner, who was being interviewed when the attack happened, is still in stable condition.
We're also learning more about the possible motive for the shooting, allegedly committed by former co-worker Vester Flanagan. But first, more this morning on how the victims are being remembered. We're joined by Eyewitness News reporter Madeleine Wright. Now, Madeleine, you actually knew Allison Parker when you were both working in North Carolina.
That's right. Allison was smart, driven, enthusiastic, and her passion for news is what brought her back to her home state of Virginia as a reporter for WDBJ. She and photographer Adam Ward were a team who worked together on the morning shift. A morning shift that took a horrific turn yesterday when they were ambushed and shot during a live interview in Minetta. Both died at the scene. Allison was 24 years old, her photographer 27. The economic development official they were interviewing, Vicki Gardner, was also wounded and at last check was in stable condition at the hospital. Police identified the shooter as former WDBJ reporter 41-year-old Vester Flanagan, who shot himself when confronted by police and died at the hospital. The Roanoke community is mourning with WDBJ, leaving flowers and candles at a memorial outside the station. Allison's father says his family is in shock.
It's hard to get your arms around it and realize or try and make sense of why it happened. Nobody should lose their daughter. I mean, nobody should be burying their child.
Investigators are trying to pinpoint a motive for the murders. Coming up at 5:30, more on a 23-page fax the shooter sent to ABC News shortly after the shootings.
All right, Madeleine, it certainly is no surprise that people in this market may know someone down there like Allison. It's such a small group of journalists, really, especially along the East Coast. Tell us a little bit more about how you knew Allison and your dealings with her in North Carolina.
I used to see Allison a lot on stories. We covered the same stories on a regular basis, whether it was crime or alligator stories, severe weather, the same stories I cover here in southern New England. She was just a very nice person. She came to my goodbye party when I got my job at WPRI. That was the last time I saw her, and she touched so many lives. And I don't know if she realized how many people she's affected, but everybody in the news industry around the country is just reeling from this.
Important to note that you were at competing stations, right? And these are some photographs of the two of you that you took on your own, that you gathered together at different events and forging these friendships, even if you didn't work at the same station. That's great to see.
Even though we were competitors or working for competing stations, we were friends, and we shared some of the same challenges working by ourselves in a bureau in remote sections of North Carolina. We had a lot in common. We were both young, ambitious reporters, and we both, she had a lot of dreams and a lot of passions, and she had a lot of great things to give. She had so much potential.
All right, thanks, Madeleine, for your perspective. Stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of this tragic story as it continues to unfold. And we'll stay on top of the investigation every step of the way and bring you new details as we learn them both on air and online, plus get extended coverage on WPRI.com, including more information on the victims.
You know, Pat and I, we come into this building every single day, right? It is a complete routine. We get here at the same time. We see the same people doing the same things, right? Getting their coffee, putting their makeup on. And I cannot even begin to imagine what that newsroom is feeling this morning as the routine is completely shattered after yesterday.
You're right. You know, this is a job where we come to every day, and you know, you're right. You don't think about it. You just come and do it, and you never think that you will become part of the news.
Right.
And what I witnessed yesterday, I've been doing this for 21 years now, seen a lot of you know, wonderful things and also reported on a lot of horrible things, but the scope and the actual real-time event that we had to report on yesterday is by far the worst thing I've ever seen. And you know, we're comparing these things to like 9/11. You know, I mean, it was. I mean, you can't really compare
as far as how it hit you,
right? As far as it becomes more like personal.
And personal for me too. I mean, we were talking about it being a small industry. Leo Hirschberner is the meteorologist at that TV station in Roanoke. Went to college with him. Went to his wedding, and you know, he's posting on Facebook this morning a picture of Channel 7 with the CBS eye with a teardrop, and talking about how it is the worst day for these people to come to work ever, because you still have to carry on with your job while being incredibly sad and mourning the loss of these wonderful people.